Well, police officer Bonginkosi Mtshali will be back in the witness box this morning as the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial continues. He's the police officer responsible for exhibits at Cleveland Police Station, where a firearm confiscated from accused number 3 was kept. Now, Mtshali has told the court the gun not related to the Meyiwa murder case was supposed to be destroyed. Our reporter Manqoba Mchunu is in court this morning and he joins us now to discuss what to expect in today's proceedings. Manqoba, of course, the chain of evidence by police officers involved in this case, it's continuing. What can we expect today?
Well, we're expecting that cross-examination to resume this morning. Of course, we recall that yesterday the lawyers had asked for more time to peruse these documents that pertain to the handling and the storing of evidence at the Cleveland storage facility, which is where Captain Bonginkosi Mtshali had been working at the time. And you recall that he had read some of the entries of that particular storage facility that relate to the firearm of accused number 3, Mtshali Mncube. In this particular matter, we recall that Mtshali Mncube had been arrested back in 2015 for a crime that related to an incident that had happened in Alexandra, and this is when then this particular firearm had been confiscated from him. It was ultimately taken into storage by the police, and there were several tests that had been done on this particular firearm, and we understand from what we heard in court is that this firearm was meant to have been destroyed in 2017, and to be exact, in November 2017, there had been a case that had been going that had wrapped up at that particular point, and there was an instruction that was given by the police's management at the Cleveland Police Station that since this case had then been concluded, this weapon was then supposed to have been destroyed. It was forfeited by the state, but that did not happen according to the evidence of Bonginkosi Mtshali. He says that there was a delay as far as this is concerned, and it's not just only this weapon, but whenever there is an instruction for weapons to be delayed, this is likely to take anything between a year and 3 years because of the paperwork, as well as some of the issues as far as the delays for the instruction to come from the province for this to actually happen. So he says this was never done, and we also learned that later on this very same weapon was then taken by the ballistic experts, was also involved in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, as well as the investigating officer, Colonel Gininda, who had then investigated this particular firearm in 2020. But at this particular point, we haven't heard what the link is. But what we do understand from the evidence that we've heard before this court, you'd have seen, Baron, in the past few weeks, the evidence of Lamberta Steyn, as well as the evidence of Moses Mabasa, who revealed to this court about the type of photos that were found on Mtshali Mncube's phone, which seemed to suggest that he had a propensity to crime, which seemed to show that he had weapons that he had in his possession, a number of weapons, and of course we understand that the state is still building its case as to how this could be all linked to the Senzo Meyiwa case. But perhaps let's take a listen to the evidence in court and what came out.
On the 10th of November 2017, there was an instruction, as indicated earlier, that the superiors would be giving the instructions pertaining these exhibits. 3.1 here, it says that these items were to be forfeited to the state or be confiscated by the state for destruction, or that it be destroyed.
Who gave that instruction?
The instruction was given by the branch commander, or Lieutenant Colonel Matahale.
And Manqoba, of course, things got a little tense yesterday in court between Defense Counsel Mshololo and, of course, Judge Mokgatleng. What's the general feel there in court? And, is tensions, starting to rub up there in court at the moment, as we are reaching the end of this week?
I think what we've been seeing a lot, Baron, is frustrations, mostly from the judge, with some of the questions that have been raised by the defense. Of course, this is not the first time that he's raised particular concerns. At some points, he lashes out at the defense for the type of questions that they ask, and asking really the relevance of those questions. I'm just reminded of the questions that were asked just a few days ago by Advocate Mnisi, when he was referring to an envelope that had been used to back some of the evidence, putting questions to Tobeka Mhlahlo, who was one of the investigators at the scene. And what we heard from the judge was really a lashing at Nisi, asking the relevance of those questions. And so we've seen the judge, stepping in at some points to try and perhaps, speed up proceedings, to try and have proceedings move, asking the relevance of some of the questions that are being asked by the defense. But I think we've seen also the defense also, seemingly taking, feelings, if I may put it that way, from, some of the utterances from the judge. But I think this is why they've been given that particular time yesterday to then prepare for this evidence, to ensure that, we continue with evidence and that there's no, issues as far as delays are concerned in this particular case. So we're expecting that to continue today with the defense, of course, expected to pose questions to Mtshali this morning.
All right, thank you so much. Manqoba Mchunu, of course, in Pretoria, at the Pretoria High Court, where the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial will be resuming this morning around 10 a.m. And we will be giving you the latest a little bit later on here on Newslink, so do stay with us.